Get started. So today's speaker, Rusty Prewett, is coming to speak to everyone about culture and vision. So got the opportunity to introduce him, and I think he's a little nervous. He's kind of wondering what I may say, but I'm going to try to keep it on script. So Rusty is the owner of Prewett Pest Control, an Alabama-based company founded in 2020 with offices in Tuscaloosa, Auburn, Huntsville, and Fairhope. After graduating from Auburn in 2001 with a bachelor's degree in business administration, Rusty began his career with the Hoover Chamber of Commerce as the membership services director. After a few years in that role, he and his brother started R&T Properties, developing real estate throughout Alabama. With the Great Recession looming in 2009, Rusty diversified into the insurance industry by starting Prewett Insurance Group and represented Allstate. For the next 14 years, Rusty grew his agency to one of the largest in the state and the country, and ultimately sold the business last year so he could focus on the pest control industry. He served as a participant in the Alabama Leadership Initiative, the Chamber of Commerce Board Chairman, the National Pest Management Association Leadership Program, and currently serves as a board member of the Alabama Pest Control Association Board. So, without further ado, Mr. Rusty Prewett, owner and CEO of Prewett Pest Control.
So recorded that for my wife and my family. That's how's everybody?
Good.
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of this organization, and I live in Auburn. But I'm going to say roll tide real quick. Roll tide. I was a member of the East Alabama SHRM, and actually was on the board for a year for that organization, and so. I love what you guys do and able to do these kind of workshops. This is a really cool event. This is a big event that I'm going to take back and try to give some feedback to do something like this over in other parts of the state. So very, very, very proud to be here. So Olivia, let's see if we can figure out how to get this thing back up.
Well, you might have to sound put her pin back in.
Oh, there we go. All right. So with that introduction, it kind of makes me sound like I got it figured out, but I'm going to be the first one to tell y'all. There's a lot of skinning of the knees, just like I'm sure a lot of you have done in the careers you're in or the leadership roles that you're in. I'm in a leadership role, obviously, with our with our company, with our community, but certainly don't have it figured out. Learning every single day. I'm excited to go listen to other speakers so I can learn. So if I cut this really, really short, that just means I'm running to hear the other speakers, because there's some good lineups. So a little bit about me. Ted touched on it, but I graduated in 2001. Decided, when I was this big, all the way through school and everything, I just always hated bugs. I just wanted to kill bugs. I wanted to own a pest control company. Not at all. I'm just curious. Raise your hand if the career that you're in, the position that you're in right now, is this what you wanted to do your entire life? Raise your hand. And some probably, right? I see one, maybe two or three, right? So, I was a marketing major. I was in business. I graduated. All I wanted to do is get into sales. I want to go into medical sales, like everybody else and their mom. My mom was in medical sales, so I wanted to be like mom and go do this fancy little medical sales career. And my GPA wasn't quite good enough to probably even get interviewed, right? And so I moved into one of my first jobs out of school was I was a membership director for the Hoover Chamber of Commerce over in Hoover. And I learned how to network. I learned how to meet people. Learned how to get involved in the community. It was a great starter job. And from there, in 2003, my brother and I both read this book, younger brother. We read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but so it's a book that changed my life, and it made me think differently about going to work for myself and going into business. And so I read that book, and within 2 weeks, I quit my job, called my brother, had him read the book. He had quit his job, and we're like, what in the world are we doing, right? I remember telling my boss at the Hoover Chamber of Commerce that I was going to go start my own business. He's like, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I think we're going to do like a wholesale import tool business. He's like, what? I'm like, import, I don't know. It's like I'm just trying to come up with something, right? Long story short, we got into real estate. This is back in 03, 04. The real estate market was hot. Y'all remember, we've gone through some different iterations of the market since then, but I remember being, in my early 20s, didn't really have a family yet. I could take the risk of going out developing real estate. And then everything was great. We're developing property throughout Alabama, down on the coast, on some of the lakes throughout Alabama. And then, let's see, what happened around 2008, 2009? Anybody remember? Kind of economically, the Great Recession, right? So it's like, we're playing musical chairs and then the music stopped and I had nowhere to sit, right? And I'm like, what am I doing? Here I am in real estate, like doing deals, but I don't really own a business. I don't have a team, it was just the two of us. And so it really opened my eyes to look for an industry that I could be in. Number one, it had to be recession proof. Going through that recession was very eye-opening. Like, I've got a product that people don't have to have. They don't have to go buy that lake lot. They don't have to go buy that beach house. And it was really eye-opening to me. I'm fortunate to even have hair up here now, so I've got some grays up there, but at least I still have some hair. But going through that really created the opportunity for me to look for a recession-proof type business that I could be in, and then also I wanted something that had a customer base, a residual customer base. So that was my criteria. And so in 2009, I bought an Allstate insurance agency. Everybody familiar with Allstate, the good hands? We used to have Dennis Haysbert, the guy with the voice, he used to do all the commercials. And so I started in 2009 with Allstate, started our agency in Birmingham, grew it pretty quickly, and been doing that for the last almost 15 years. I'm just curious, in the industries you guys are in, I'm not sure what all different industries you represent, whether it's retail or manufacturing, but has technology changed your business models? I'm just curious, over the last 5-10 years. Are y'all seeing changes? Yeah? What was that? I hate paper? I think of like Amazon, has Amazon disrupted the retail industry out there, right? Used to, I'd go into Walmart to get a tube of toothpaste or deodorant or air filter. Now I'm buying it on Amazon, right? Why? Because it's a consistent experience. I can read reviews. There's always somebody there to help me because I can read the reviews. I can return my package, easily, right? At no cost if I've got Prime. So for me, with the Allstate insurance industry, it afforded me the opportunity to grow a business, recession-proof. It was an amazing learning experience for me, from going, never leading employees, never having people, to now started building a team, right? And so over the years, we got up to anywhere from 12 to 15 employees. We're in 2 or 3 different offices around the state. And then with technology changing, my fear is that this right here is changing the world right here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't y'all say probably more so in the last 5 years than probably in the previous 25? I mean, it feels like that to me, right? And I didn't want to be what I call like the Blockbuster Video of insurance agents, right? So my wife's a travel agent now, but back in the day, everybody used a travel agent to book flights and to go on travel, and then the internet changed all that. So for me, about 6 or 7 years ago, I decided to start diversifying, and I wanted to find another business that I could start, that checked those boxes again. It was recession-proof, had a recurring customer base, and at this point, what's something that technology cannot disrupt, right? And I'm not saying it won't happen, but technology is not going to replace a human being coming to service your home to kill bugs, right? Or to fix your air conditioner, or those type of things. So for me, that's the reason I chose an industry that I had no freaking clue anything about bugs, right? I know a little bit more than what I knew about 4 years ago, but I knew how to hopefully grow a team, knew how to market and sell, and get our name out there in the community, right? And so I tell you all this just so you kind of get a background for me. My passion is not just killing bugs, right? That's part of what I do. It wasn't selling insurance, right? For me, my passion was growing a team, creating something, right? Having a vision. I love to create. I think that's what I love about real estate. When you can take a piece of property with nothing on it, or an old house. Anybody ever fix up like an old house? Right? Isn't it fun? Sometimes. But it is. It's seeing not something as it is, but as it can be. And I'm always intrigued by that. And so that's what I love about growing a company. We just happen to kill bugs, right? So it's about taking care of customers. It's about growing our customer base. And what I found is my job as the owner of the company is not to necessarily go kill bugs and teach everybody how to kill bugs or to do all these different things. My role as the owner of the company, which by the way, over the last 4 years, I'm wearing 25 different hats, right? And now maybe we're 17 hats. You know, when we first opened, I was the sales guy, I was the owner, I was cleaning the toilets, right? I mean, doing every aspect of it, right? But as we grow, we get to build our team and start to duplicate ourselves. So I feel like my role is to lead the vision, right, and drive the culture of our organization. So we went from 0 employees, 4 years ago to we have 32 now in 4 years. For me, that's the most people I've ever directly managed, right? So a lot of you in here probably are leading teams of 50, 100, 500 possibly plus, right? So we all have our different set of challenges, but at the end of the day, it's about people, right? And it's about having a vision, not to push people in the direction you want to go, but to pull them with you, right? Or alongside you. So that kind of sets the stage. Just so you guys know, I did not grow up just with a hatred toward bugs and termites. And I've always hated mosquitoes. Anybody hate mosquitoes? I hate mosquitoes. All right. Olivia, let's see if we can figure this thing out again. I don't know what I did last time. There we go. All right. So I remember when I told my family, it was November 2019, sitting around the Thanksgiving table and thinking about this new business I can start, right, in a new industry. Sitting around my family, eating dressing and turkey and all that good stuff. And I said, hey guys, I got an announcement to make. I'm about to start a new company. Everybody's like, awesome, what are you doing? I'm like, pest control. Pest control? Like, did you spill gravy on yourself? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense. You know nothing about this. And I said, well, I gave them the reasons, right? So we went through that. So the next step, started going about creating a logo and kind of putting a business model together and all that good stuff. And I met with Eloise Stewart, who helped us with our branding and design for some other businesses that we have. I remember her asking me, she said, Rusty, I get you're starting a pest control company, but wow, like what's going to make you different? And I just sat there and I didn't really have an answer. I felt like a moron. I'm like, I've been running my own business for 15 years and I really don't have a good answer. And it really made me self-reflect. I'm like, well, if I could just go run a good pest control business and actually answer the phone, take care of people, provide good customer service. But I'm like, that's not really a vision that people are going to follow, right? How am I going to sell? I've got several of our team members here today, during the interview process, are they going to quit their job current position maybe and come work for me to follow that vision? Probably not, right? So we came up with this, I felt like, Alabama, our area, our communities didn't need another pest control company because there are tons of, a lot of great pest control companies, by the way. I felt like it needed a different kind of pest control company. So part of the vision that we started putting in place was what can we do to be different? Because at the end of the day, I feel like we're in the customer service business, right? That's what we do. People like you, we got to kill bugs, right? I mean, that's like table stakes. We have to do that. But can we deliver an experience that people enjoy doing business with us? It's not just a necessity, right? And so we wanted to create a different one. And it's kind of funny. I know it's probably hard for y'all to see up here, but I've got a journal. I keep a journal and daily planner or whatever. And this is one like I penciled out. This was like 4 years ago where I penciled out sort of an organizational chart of what it would look like. And I think we're probably on vacation. I'm sitting on the beach somewhere and I'm like penciling this stuff out. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, couldn't get it out of my head, right? So it's like starting with the vision. So for us, we want to create a company, we say our slogan is modern, convenient, and effective. So we want to modernize the experience of pest control. And you could take what I'm saying, and you could use that same logic for an air conditioning service, right? Or a dry cleaning service, or a restaurant. It doesn't matter, right? How can we modernize the experience for a consumer to do business the way they want to do business, not the way we want to do business, right? Like a consumer now, in my opinion, they're laying in bed at 9 o'clock at night and they see a roach run by across the floor. In my opinion, they should be able to get on their phone and find a pest control company, select an appointment, and have someone out there the next day without ever having to talk to anybody, right? Now, I would love it if they would call me directly and I could talk to them. I could build a rapport over the phone, and I probably have a higher chance of getting their business that way, right? Because it's more personal. That's the way I want to do business, not necessarily the way they want to do business, right? So we set our model up on that theory of being modern, convenient, and effective. All right, let's see. So again, 4 years later, just snapshot, we got 4 locations, like Ted mentioned earlier. We've got 32 people. So everybody know Brittany in here, Brittany fan, and she's like a rock star. I know in our office, so I know she's got to be one here. So I'm just going to give her she's been a huge help, and we've probably added 5 or 6 people just since she's been here in the last 4 months, and she's doing a phenomenal job. But we've got 32 people across 4 locations. Our goal is to grow to $25 million in annual revenue, in the next 10 years. So it's going to be we've got a tall hill to climb, right? But how many lives can we impact along the way? How many opportunities can we create? How many customers can we change the way maybe they think about doing the experience with a traditional home service business, right? That gets me excited. So we're at $4 million over 4 years. We're definitely rapidly growing. We're learning every day. Like I said earlier, we skin our knees every day. Like, you don't want me to take, you be glad I'm not wearing, I almost said take my pants off. Be glad I'm not wearing shorts. They're skinned up, I promise you. So I love this quote right here. It's about driving culture, right? So company culture shapes how we collaborate, innovate, and ultimately deliver value to our customers. So we came up with our core, what we call our core focus. So who in here with your company has core values? Everybody have their core values, right? Y'all have like a core focus or like a mission statement, right? So everybody has that. So I remember with our Allstate business 12, 14 years ago, I remember one day like, I don't have a mission statement. I don't have core values. We need core values. So what did I do? I went to Google and searched, what should my core values be or whatever, right? Today it'd be like chat GPT. And so we just kind of came, I think we just stole somebody else's core values. I rolled it out to our team. I was fired up, right? I'm like, guys, here are our core values. And everybody's just drinking the Kool-Aid. They're excited. And then like a week later, I'm like, what are our core values again? I wrote them down. Let me go find them. I wrote them down. I asked everybody, hey guys, y'all know our core values? Oh, y'all don't know our core values. They're, like cheating over here to tell everybody our core values. And so I was doing that exercise to check a box. Like I knew it was important. I knew I was supposed to have core values, but they didn't really mean anything to me, right? It wasn't really meaningful. I was checking that box. So with this company, it's almost like you get a reset. I get to learn from maybe the mistakes or the experiences I had with our other business. And I'm sure like you guys, the experiences you have with your previous jobs, your careers, or different positions, roles, you can take that experience to your next phase of life, right? So this was our next phase of life. So one thing that we did, we use a model called EOS to operate our business. It's called the Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's unbelievable. It's about the way we run our business, the way we hold meetings, accountability. We do all of our company planning in 90-day segments. So like we're like a 12-week year. There's a book out there called The 12-Week Year, if y'all have ever heard of that. But anyway, one of the things, so we bring this consultant in, and he tells us, we're going to do a 2-day session, and then 90 days later, we're going to do this next session, and we're going to get through all this stuff. And I'm just wondering, all right, how are we going to grow? How are we going to get to 25 million? How are we going to serve 50,000 customers? And we spend the whole first day talking about like core values and core focus, and I'm like, here we go again, We got to check this box. But it was so different this time. And the reason is it was a collaborative approach. It was literally our team at the time. There were like 4 or 5 of us. And it wasn't just Rusty's core values, right? It was our whole team's core values. And we came up with these, right? Also our core focus. And that last quote was talking about driving value. And so our core focus for Prewett Pest Control is we strive to create value with every customer, team member, and partner interaction, right? So it's obvious our customers, we have to create value. We got to kill bugs. How can we create value above that, right? How are we going to create value for our team members? To me, I want to see people grow. I want to see our employees start here and go here. Not just money-wise. It's not just about money, but it's about their development, right? Personally, professionally, right? I've had people that have worked for us that started here and wouldn't walk in this room and look anybody in the eye. And here they are 3 years later serving on boards for the local Chamber of Commerce or on committees, right, and leadership roles. That's fulfilling, right? That's pretty dang awesome. So our goal is to create value. And our partners are going to be our vendors. You guys are a partner of ours, right? Our suppliers, we have to create value for everybody that we interact with, right? So that's our core focus, and it means something. You can hear it in my voice. I mean, it absolutely means something. And we talk about it, by the way, every meeting we have, and we'll talk about that in a second. But other thing is our core values. So we came up with our core values, and I'm going to go on the next slide. So PEACO, P-E-A-C-O, stupid little acronym we came in. After we came up with our core values, passion, love what you do and why you do it, right? Nobody wants to go to work and just be miserable, right? We all can't just, it's not unicorns and rainbows out there. We can't just sit on a beach and, drinking Mai Tais all day. It'd be nice if we could, but we can't. So we should at least be happy when we go into work. We shouldn't go into work miserable, right? So love what you do and why you do it. Excellence. Strive for perfection, settle for excellence. Nobody's perfect. One guy upstairs is perfect, that's it, right? All we can do is try to do everything with excellence. Adaptable, we got to embrace change. If we don't embrace change, we're going to be the blockbuster video of our industry, right? We have to embrace change. And for a fast-growing company like ours, small business, holy smokes, change everywhere. That's these guys over here, right? Creativation. It's actually a word we came up with. We had 7 core values or 6 core values. And one was creative and the other was innovative. We like those two, so we just combined them in creativation. But it's have an innovative mindset and think like an outsider. So I love bringing people into our company that have no previous pest control experience. I mean, like myself, right? By the way, I love the ones that have experience too, right? It all comes together. But I love the fact that they can come into our culture and be innovative and think about things differently. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody comes on board and they're asking a question, maybe in their onboarding or whatever, and they're like, asking a question about how you do a process. And they say, well, why do we do it this way? Or why do y'all do it this way? What's the answer you typically get?
We always have.
Well, that's just the way we've always done it, right? It's the way we've always. That makes me want to vomit. Does anybody else hate that? I hate that, and we're all guilty of it because it happens like that. I mean, it can happen overnight. You don't realize it, but it happens so easily. I found ourselves doing it, and I'm like, it's one of our core values. And as soon as I say it and I hear myself saying it, I just want to just throw up. I mean, I hate it, right? So how can we have those areas of innovation and people thinking like an outsider? Because I guarantee you, Elon Musk is thinking like an outsider. I guarantee you, Steve Jobs was thinking like an outsider, right? These guys that are changing the world, Amazon, start off as a bookstore, and I mean, now look what it is, right? So that's been the creativation. And the last is ownership. And let's see. Ownership. So take initiative to bring about positive results, right? We want our people to have ownership in what they do, ownership to treat the company as if it's their own, right? I'm curious, in here, does anybody own the company that you're representing today or own your own business? Right? So you guys are thinking like, you're here, you're investing in your time to grow the business and the organization that you're part of, right? So how, like why do you guys do that? I'm just curious, just maybe some quick feedback, like what makes you guys think like you're an owner if you're not the one who actually has your name on the name of the business? Anybody have anything they want to share? Just like how can you have ownership without actually having ownership in the business? How do you think like an owner?
I'll talk just because I like to. So I'm new to an agency, as in like this is my second day. But however, my daughter is 18. I worked there when she was about 3 or 4 years old, so for like 4 or 5 years. So I'm returning. And it's sad to say that it's the same agency. Like the wallpaper, I went in yesterday and I was like, oh, my old office looks the exact same. Like everything is the same. So I'm not the same 20-year-old, even though I might look like it outside of the gray hair. But I'm not the same girl that I was when I was there 18 years ago. So I feel vested in the company to make it change, to make it grow, because the agency itself is great and what we do for the community is great, but the way that we go about doing it is prehistoric. It is so much more that we could do if we would grow and change with the time.
There you go.
And I'm so reliant on her energy because I'm.
Come on, let's go. I'm fired up. Let's go. That's exactly right, though. I mean, I remember walking into another Allstate agent's office years ago, and I was in management for a little bit. And, I'm like, well, how's it going with your hiring? He was trying to hire new people. He was like, I just can't find any good people. And I look around, and he's got the same brown shag carpet that when the building, they've been in business for like 50 years, right? A little plastic fern over here in the corner with 3 layers of dust on it, right? Like, so who wants to come work for that, that's a great example. When I think of taking ownership, it's like, how can you lead when you're not in charge too, right? I mean, you don't have to be a manager. You don't have to have a certain title to take ownership in what you do. But it's about doing things with excellence. If I get out of the park, if I get to our office and I get out of my car, I start walking to the door, I see a piece of trash on the ground. I'm going to go pick it up, right? I own the company, it's got my name on the sign, whatever. But what's really cool is when I see one of our team members pull up, get out of their car, and they go there and pick up that piece of trash, go take it to the garbage. I mean, I get chills just thinking about that. That's freaking awesome, right? So I can tell them to go, hey, when you get out of your car, you need to go pick up the trash every time. No, it's a culture, right? It's something that you can't really define culture. You can't see it. I mean, it's not tangible, right? I mean, when you really start thinking of the word culture, like how do you really define it, right? It's like you can just feel it, right? You can just kind of sense it when you walk in the door. You can sense it when you talk to somebody, right? I mean, that's freaking exciting, right? So these are our core values. We talk about this all the stinking time. All right, so this right here, I know you can't see it, but again, it all starts with a vision. So for us, it's where are we going? Like, where are we taking this thing, right? We've got some really talented people that have come and joined our team. And, I can imagine after they interview with me, they go back and tell their spouse, hey, I'm thinking about going to pest control. And they're like, pest control? And then they're like, well, how long have they been around? I don't know, a couple of years. The guy was in insurance. I mean, like, we really got to sell that, right? I mean, so it starts with what we call our 10-year target. So where are we trying to go? Where are we trying to be in 10 years? For us, it's $25 million in revenue, which means we're serving 50,000 customers across the state of Alabama and in Georgia, right? That's our 10-year target. It's a target because if I'm shooting an arrow across the field, I'm probably not going to hit, but I know what direction I'm going, right? It's a target, okay? From there, we have what we call our 3-year picture. We can get a little bit more realistic of where our 3-year picture is, right? So for us, our goal is to be at $10 million in revenue. We'll have about 80 team members across the markets that we're in, okay? And then we have a 1-year goal, which we can get really dialed into, right? Very tangible. So it all starts with a vision. So we are constantly reiterating this to our leadership team and then throughout our company. So we always talk about our core values, our core focus, our 10-year target, like where are we going? Because you get in the weeds, you get in the grind. Y'all know this. You get in the grind every freaking day. Like right now for us, dude, it's like 110 heat index out there. Our guys are grinding. I mean, they're coming in, they're exhausted, right? So we have to remind them why we're doing what we're doing, right? And if not, if I'm in the grind and one of my team members doesn't lift me up, right, then we'll all be there. So we have to do it together. So that's we call it our vision tracker organizer, right? If anybody wants any of these little templates, just let me know and we can get it to you. But it's just a one-pager. One-pager sums up our entire reason why we're here. All right, so casting the vision. All right, so we've come up with our core values. We've got our core focus. We now have a vision. And by the way, when we were working with this consultant who did this, like this is like after 3 different days over the course of 6 months just to get to this point. We haven't even talked about like strategy and how we're going to grow and all this stuff. And I'm getting impatient at this point. I'm like, now let's talk about how we're going to get there and what we're going to do, right? And so once we got there, now we have to go what I call casting the vision. And we do that in several different ways. And I'm sure you guys do as well. And I would love to learn what you guys are doing. But I'll tell you, and I'm going to go through a few different examples of what we do. And I really think it applies in any industry. But one thing we do is we do an annual kickoff meeting. We call it Pico Fest. Again, core values. My father-in-law makes fun of me all the time, like sees me on Facebook. Everybody, Pico, and makes whatever. Pico Fest. So this is our annual meeting. I'm going to play this video if I can get this to work. We bring everybody in from all our 4 locations, and it's growing every year. Okay, here we go. We're kicking off Pico Fest 2023. We've got an awesome lineup of speakers for everybody. We have all 3 of our locations here. We have all our team members here ready to go. We're going to have some cool Pico Fest Olympic games this afternoon. We're looking forward to it. Let's go check it out. We do the right things for the right reasons. We're going to continue to have more opportunities than we could ever imagine. We want to create an environment and opportunities where you're excited to come to work. What I want for everybody in here and for our company is to reach your highest potential. So that was Pico Fest. So that was our 3rd. So we just had our 4th one this year, and I think let's see, how to get back in there.
Drinking warm water before bed balances blood sugar levels and reverses type 2.
You may want to write this down.
By adding one unusual ingredient to a glass of warm water before bed. If you're
I mentioned we are not a technology company. All right. I was like, I do not remember that part. All right. Remember, we've only got probably a few more minutes here, so I'm going to kind of go through this fairly quickly. But so we reinforce our culture. Again, these are things that you guys are doing. I'm sure maybe some things are not. New employee orientation. I mean, I feel like the first 30 days of bringing on someone new is the most critical time of their time with you, right? But I mean, think about it. You're bringing them in. You're fast. Everything's fast paced, but you forget what it's like sometimes to be the new person. I mean, you got butterflies, you just left another situation, like all those things, right? So what can we do? So just some little things we do, and Brittany's really elevated this for us, by the way, since she's joined our team. But, we do a social media post welcoming our new people. We have, welcome gifts and swag and all that good stuff. Like, we want them drinking Kool-Aid from, like, day one, right? We go over our core values. We go over our playbook. The other things we do are weekly and monthly meetings. So everybody has those, you've got your weekly meetings, leader, all these different levels of meetings or whatever. One thing that we do, we start off every meeting going through our core values and our core focus, and we actually quiz everybody. Sometimes we'll make it fun and make it a game out of it, which is cool. We'll do giveaways and stuff like that, all with our core values. So like my expectation is that everybody in the company knows what our core values are and can recite them. And believe it or not, just about everybody in our company, I feel confident knows them. Now, if you put them on the spot, they may get a little nervous sometimes. But I promise you, they can tell you what the core values are. Maybe not word for word, but they got the gist of it, right? So that's a big win for me compared to my last time trying to roll that out. All right. Let's see. So again, talking about keeping team members engaged, we do a family day. You guys have done that. It's hard not to make it the old dreaded company like family picnic, that you've seen your whole life. Another one that we came up with was Pico de Mayo. So that's one that we're just cooking fajitas. May have some Coronas. We're just having fun. We're trying to break up the monotony of just the grind of work, right? We're trying to make it a fun place, Again, my father-in-law, he sees all this stuff we post on Facebook and social media. He's like, y'all ever work? And I'm like, I promise we do, right? But now when we're recruiting somebody, we're about to bring somebody on board, we're interviewing them. If they go to another competitor's page, then they go to ours, they see the fun we're having. By the way, we're working our butts off. It's not just all fun, right? It's work hard, play hard. Who's probably going to have a leg up in getting that new team member, right? So just different ways we do random pop-up celebrations. Social media. This is huge. When I think of social, I love marketing. When I think of social media, most companies, in my opinion, just does not do a great job of social media. They make it all about their services or their boring products, right? I mean, at the end of the day, pest control is boring. I mean, there's nothing sexy and fun about it, right? But how can we have, if you don't take anything away from this today, if you guys have social media pages or, can work with your department if you're a bigger company, how can you personalize it? How can you make it real? Like I represented Allstate Insurance, and I would see the post that they would do on my behalf as an Allstate agent. It would put me to sleep. They would spend thousands of dollars to have like 2 likes. Like 2 likes for thousands of dollars of like advertising and stuff, right? We can go post something about Pico de Mayo, and we'll get 50 likes, and like people are sharing it and engaging, and it's fun, right? It shows off the culture of what we're doing. Now we do highlight our services, but that's a very small part of what we're doing. In my opinion, the social media really should reinforce the culture that you're trying to drive, right? Again, recognition and rewards. Again, none of this is earth-shattering, right? I mean, this is not like groundbreaking things that we're doing. It's just trying to be intentional about it. We recognize birthdays, anniversaries. There's time in our company where we haven't done that. You know why? Because the person that was doing it maybe they're no longer with us, or they got busy or whatever, right? So I'm saying all this to kind of keep it top of mind about how it makes such an impact on the culture, and how can we put in systems and processes to make those things happen and happen continuously, right? So kind of wrapping up, company culture, you know, in my experience, right, starts with the core values and core focus. It's got to have meaning. If it doesn't have meaning to us in here, how the hell is it going to have meaning to any of our employees, right? If they can't feel it, when our people hear me talk about it, they hear the passion, it takes on a whole new meaning, right? When Isaac gets up and he talks about core values in our meetings, they hear it in his voice, right? It has a completely different meaning. Next is a clearly defined vision. Where are we going, right? Where are we going? You've got to have that vision. I would arguably say Tuscaloosa probably has one of the better football programs in the history of college football, right? Started with a vision. Next is reinforcing that vision. And it takes work, guys. It doesn't happen by accident. Who loves Chick-fil-A in here? Chick-fil-A. I mean, unbelievable culture, consistency, all those things, right? So they're constantly reinforcing that vision with their team members. So last, I'll leave you kind of with this last quote that's on here. And if you can't read it, I'll say it. But it's impactful to me because, you know, a lot of times I get in the weeds of like, how are we going to grow our business? Like it's kind of about the numbers. How many new customers do we need to get? How are we going to grow, right? But at the end of the day, culture eats strategy for breakfast every day, right? So the culture drives the strategy. You can have the strategy, but without the culture, it's not going to be as effective, right? So how about us, if we can mirror or marry those two things, how freaking powerful is that, right? So I love that quote. If y'all have heard it, I forget who says it, but it's really powerful to me. Lastly, one other little thing, just kind of a little tidbit. So we started a podcast, which is kind of interesting. I started this company 4 years ago. So I wanted to start a podcast like 10 years ago in insurance. I'm like, what do I do it on? I have no idea what to do. Like insurance is boring. Like nobody wants to listen to a podcast about insurance. So when we started the pest control company, we started documenting and doing interviews and episodes on building this company. It's really been there's really no business intent behind it. It doesn't make money or anything like that. But if you want to follow it, you're welcome to, just to give you some ideas. But again, it's reinforcing the culture of what we're doing. We talk about how the successes we're having, the failures we're having, all those different things. And it's actually a really good recruiting tool because a lot of people, you know, if they're thinking about coming to work for us, you know, our leadership team can say, well, hey, go listen to our owner. He has a podcast and it talks about the different aspects of our business. You can go back 4 years ago and was talking like, hey, we just got our first customer. Like, we're so excited, you know, and now here we are at over 5,000 customers. So it's really cool to see the journey of that. So if you want to check it out, you're welcome to. With that, I guess I know we've only got a minute or so left. If we want to open it up for any kind of Q&A or anybody have any questions or feedback, you think for the good of the group?
It was very enlightening to hear your story, very much so. I listened to how when you were talking about Allstate, you were using the word I, but probably without you even knowing it, when you started talking about pest control, you started using the word our and we. So that was very exciting for me to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Any questions? All right. So guys, thank you all seriously. Thank you for what you do. I mean, you have an opportunity to make a big impact for all the teams that you lead. We can go out and create value for all of our team members. How much better does it make our industry? How much better does it make our community? Right. So thank you for what you do, guys. Thank you all.
All right, everybody, so we're still kind of monitoring the schedule today. So if everyone wants to go to the cafeteria, grab a quick snack or something, but then kind of grab and go and make your way to your next concurrent session.
made it. Sure.
All of mine.
I was scared. Well, I was
See you later.